Welcome to the Yokoy Academy. In this video, you will learn how to create a per diem claim in the Yokoy mobile app. Per diems, also known as daily allowances or lump sums, are amounts paid to employees traveling on behalf of the company instead of reimbursing them for their actual expenses. They tend to be paid due to legal requirements in some countries and/or at the company's discretion. Depending on your company's setup, per diems can be created automatically as part of a trip or manually by you. To manually create a new per diem claim, click on the three vertical dots in the bottom right corner and select New Per Diem to open a per diem expense form. You now need to enter and validate all the per diem expense information in the relevant fields. The options available to you will depend on your company's configuration of per diem rate types and applicable policies, so it may differ slightly from what you see in this video. Swipe up or down on the expense information to add up to 3 supporting documents of up to 5 megabytes each to back up your claim for possible reimbursement. You can either take a picture directly or select an image or file from your phone. And by clicking on the trash can icon on the left, you can delete additional files from the expense. All fields marked with an asterisk are mandatory. If you leave any of these blank, you will not be able to submit the expense, and missing data is highlighted in red. If you click on the X in the upper right corner without having changed anything in the expense form, the per diem will be deleted and you will have to start again. The first field you see is the business purpose or description. Click on the pen to edit it and explain what this per diem claim is for. You can also view the status of your expense and the amount that is reclaimable based on the default per diem rate. Next, check the expense country. Use the small arrows on the right side of the screen to open and collapse each section for adjustment. The country of your company is listed here by default. If you have traveled abroad, select a different country, as different rates may apply. Depending on how your company is configured, you may be able to adjust the per diem rate. Yokoy pre-selects the most appropriate rate, taking time zone differences into consideration when calculating per diems. Under date range, select the start and end dates for the per diem. The current date is listed in the field by default. Change this if you want to claim per diems for a different time period. Please note that a weekend or a duplicate warning may appear at the top of the expense form to inform you that you have already created a per diem claim for the same day or that the date falls on a weekend. Click on Review to check the per diem expense you are potentially duplicating. You can either adjust the expense or submit it as it is, but you may not receive full reimbursement. These notifications can also be seen by managers and finance users. Per diems are usually used to reimburse employees for their meals during a trip. This applies if they have received free meals or paid for their own meals and those of other guests, such as business attendees. In these cases, the per diem amount needs to be adjusted for that day. This can be done via the per diem modification. The available addition and deduction concepts depend on your company policies and/or location. For example, if breakfast is included in your hotel booking, you need to select breakfast received to reduce the per diem amount. Per diem modifications apply to each day. For example, if you only received breakfast on day 1 and not on day 2, you would need to create a separate per diem manually for day 2, or create a trip expense to access individual per diem modifications for each day. In the Cost Allocation section, you can adjust the pre-selected cost object or add additional ones and decide how and where the expense amount should be split and allocated. During your editing process, you can click the X button in the top right corner to either save your changes and exit the expense, or discard your changes and exit without saving. To access additional expense fields, click on More Options. Select the tax rate and gross amount for countries from which your company can reclaim VAT. Alternatively, a finance user can take care of this. Next, add company-specific tags to provide more information to your expense. For expenses relating to a work trip, select the relevant trip here. You can only add expenses to a trip if the trip's feature is enabled for your company and if you have created a trip that has not yet been submitted. Lastly, Leave a comment in the activity timeline if your per diem expense displays a warning, or if you wish to provide additional information about your selected modifications or the purpose of your claim. Once you have filled in all the required information, you have two options to proceed. Click Save Draft if you want to save the expense and return to it later. Click Submit if you want to submit the expense. After clicking Submit, your expense will disappear from the My Tasks menu because it will no longer be an open task. You can view it in the Expenses Submitted section. Here, you can track it through the approval process, and through the three dots, you can access the activity timeline or recall the expense to make adjustments. You can also swipe right in the expense overview to access the recall or archive quick actions. Now you can successfully create and submit per diem claims in the Yokoy mobile app. Thanks for watching and have fun exploring Yokoy.